Good afternoon. It is March 28th, 2022, and today, really, we just had a range day. Let me start off, first of all, by saying I think I mentioned it last week, but I have family in town this week, so there will probably be a couple of days where I don't even post a video. I won't have much time. But anyway, yeah, my schedule is going to be all over the place this week, off of work and everything. So, uh, really, we had a range day all day, but then around 9:30, this thing just rocketed on out of here and continued to trend higher. I don't really see any like measured moves in here. To be honest, this just looks like one leg up. Maybe this would be the break, but this all looks like one move to me. Yeah, that's the break. Okay, so as I predicted, that looks like that's probably the break. I don't know what's going on there. So who knows? Maybe we'll make a measured move up in the overnight. But let's take a look at these trades. I don't want to spend too much time looking through this. So, okay, this is actually a bigger range than I thought. Yeah, so about a 30-point range. So we made a 30-point move up in the overnight. And this is too early. This looks like a really nice failed second entry short. Actually, this is a failed second entry short right here. And then if that's a new low, which it looks like it to me, you get another failure. But anyway, we get a break of this channel and some support at the midline, you can see. And then shortly after the open, we just bounced and went higher. And I think that's the first. Here, let me talk about this first. We form this channel up and we get a break. So we're expecting a move to a new high. When we make these two legs up that fail to make a new high, well, you think, okay, that's fine. That's normal. We might get another leg some other time. But when we continue to try and fail to go higher, that's when I personally felt like, okay, we're going to test these lows. Also, we tried to test Friday's closing price. I think that's Friday's closing price. No, that's actually probably Thursday's closing price. That's what I'm thinking. We went to try and test that in the overnight and we failed. So I was thinking maybe we would try and test that, and that's pretty much where we bounced. So anyway, we start moving up. We get this first entry, failed second entry. It triggers right here. So this is a pretty aggressive move, especially after having this congestion at the midline. So I'm not too crazy about that. But if you're feeling aggressive, you might do that. Then we come here, and this is just too much it's just too choppy. And we get a first failed second entry right here. I just don't like that because it's so far from the EMA, far from any trend channel. You don't know quite yet if these are the highs of the channel. I had it drawn down here. So then you're going into the top of the channel at that point. So and I actually had this one boxed off because that's a second entry, but it doesn't trigger. And so by the time it does trigger, I'm not trying to hop in that. We get this overshoot near the overnight highs, make a lower high, and then a failed second entry long right here. This one's aggressive. You're going into this trend channel. You're going into the closing price from Friday. So there's some reason to hold off on that. I don't like that. It looks to me to also to be a double top. So you probably want to wait for this. And that looks like it probably got you a scalp. But at that point, look, these are all inside bars. And you got some dojis in there. but 36.75, yeah, that'd be good enough for a scalp and a scalp only. So, but if you're patient, you get a first entry, second entry. I do like the way this sets up. It confirms this trend channel, and it's finding resistance off of this previous channel. So, and it looks like we're in a range. So we'll probably go to the lows, or at least these lows. Eventually, that's what we test. And so that's a new high, and we get a first failed second entry right here. Good setup off the trend line. So I do like that. And then the midline of the overnight highs and lows holds prices and causes this trend channel to break. And then we break, we make a new low, and we bounce. And this is a failure right here. It's a hidden failure, so we can't really take that. And then this is technically right here is where the failure occurs, but those are dojis inside this red bar. So I didn't want to take that. It's also way too far away from the EMA. So I didn't want to take that. And look, it just turns out to be congestion. And then this, what happened here, I think, this is where Biden announced some sort of budget. But you can see we've made multiple fail attempts to make a new high. And so I think that that had a lot to do with this quick sell-off as well. And here, this was the first trade I took. And I think I came in around here. So I didn't like anything in here, to be honest. This was the first thing I liked that I saw. You get a first entry, failed second entry long. It's also a first, second entry short. And it's looks like a double test to me. So I really like, I'd like that entry for a scalp for sure. And we start going sideways a little bit, but you can see prices fail to go higher again. So I looked at this as the first test, second test, and then they tested a bunch of times in here, and it fails. And at that point, we get a first entry, failed second entry long. I didn't have the guts to pull the trigger here because it looked like prices were ranging in between the opening price and the overnight highs. And so at that made me think that we were going to the highs. But look, we didn't make it to the highs here. Came back. We weren't making it to these highs. So I marked that as aggressive, but it also was technically a second entry short because we went lower, then went higher, and then went lower. I just didn't like the way it closed. If it closed better, I probably would have taken that. But luckily, that's a double top, so the count resets. You get a first entry, failed second entry long, off confirming this trend channel, and it also is a second entry short, although the signal bar isn't good. So that was a good entry. I'm a little hesitant to take failures off of the that far away from the EMA, but it just set up perfectly the way I was looking at the chart, and I had my trend line drawn, and at that point I was like, okay, well, we'll probably test these overnight lows, and that's exactly what happened. So that was the second trade that I took. And then here we're just below the overnight lows, and we hit that Thursday's closing price, make a triple test, correct, come back down, make a new low after the break, and then we just reverse, and you actually get a perfect reversal pattern right here. It's first entry, failed second entry short. Yeah, you're going into this level of resistance, but that was only, we're not sure that that's an important price level yet. Maybe it was formed right here and then it's tested once, but if that's the case, then we have room to scalp out to there. So that's a good entry. And then we break that channel, move up into this range, which is right at the midline between the overnight highs and lows. And this is really choppy, so you don't want to enter much here. But when we get this breakout with trend, it starts to look like, it kind of looks like after the fact, like the range ended right here. And that's what I've seen this a lot in the past probably 2 months. I've noticed that a lot of these ranges, some ranges will hold. But once you start getting breakouts, that's when they matter less and less. Just something I've noticed. So when we get this first entry, second entry, really good setup, really good signal bar, I think you got to take that, especially with how strong of a move up that was. And we know the context. These are the highs. So I would be feeling pretty confident that we would test these highs, and if you get a runner, these highs. So you get a first, failed second entry long right here, very bullish signal bar. Again, I'm expecting to test the highs, and looks like this would have been quick. This closes at 11:40, and this one closes at 11:44. So within 4 minutes, you might have had a 6-point runner. And this is all very far from the EMA, and there's just, I don't think that's a second entry long. Let's see. Yeah, that doesn't make a new low. There's no setup in here, unfortunately. We come here, we get a second entry long, and that looks like it's off of a trend channel too. So all right, second entry long. Looks like a spike in channel. And finally, you get a break of this very strong channel up, and that's actually a second entry right there, but you're not going to take that below the EMA, and just rockets up. So that's what I saw for today. Like I said at the beginning, probably won't be able to make videos this week. This might be the only one I get to. So if that's the case, God bless everyone. I'll be back next week, but maybe I'll find some time tomorrow or Wednesday to make a video. So have a great day.